Thanks, Randy. It's been a great 2 days, has it not? Let's give these guys another round of applause if you don't mind. Thank you. Thanks. Randy, I got to tell you, for the last 2 years that you and I have known each other, the partnership, the collaboration that we are doing is just phenomenal, and I appreciate the friendship and I appreciate the partnership. We're both working to change the thinking in this industry. I believe down to my core, those of you that know me, we need to think differently. We need to think differently. And that's what UnleashWD is all about, this October 29th and 30th. And Randy asked me to just tell you a little bit about it. Number one, those of you that were in the B track, you heard me say 2 weeks ago, the National Association of Wholesalers Institute for Distribution Excellence published the latest research that I concluded over the last 24 months on the topic of innovation, the first published report on the state of innovation throughout wholesale distribution. And 2 weeks ago, they published that book. In that book, we outline a model of the innovative distributor. Those distributors who are going to innovate and transform and change their future and remain relevant in the future. You see that model up there. Number one, as we talked about over the last 2 days, we need a vision. Without vision, there is no innovation. Without a future reality that you can see, there will be no change, transformation, or innovation. Number two, we need a culture. We need a culture of change. We need a culture of transformation. We need a culture of experimentation. How do we put those things in place? Number three, we need to seriously look at our value proposition. I think we can agree that the majority of distributors today are trapped in the world of sameness. We are me too organizations rather than follow me organizations. And we need to define that new value proposition. Once we define that new value proposition, it's imperative that we redefine the business model. How do we deliver, how do we create, and how do we capture value based on the new value propositions that are going to be required? And finally, we need transformative leadership. So our 2 days, October 29th and 30th, is built around this model. Now, the experts we bring in, I almost joke. Experts in the room, please don't get mad at me. I almost joke when I bring in the 17 storytellers, I give them a test. And I tell them that if you know what the word supply chain means, I don't invite you to come speak. What we do is we bring people from outside of the industry. We need to inject new thinking. So what we do, you've got a sheet on your page here, on your table. One of the influences that an individual that's influenced me and you, I'm sure, is Steve Jobs. Now listen to one of the things Steve Jobs said. Steve Jobs says we need to look outside and find the best that humans have done. Hear that? Find the best that humans have done. Not the best that other distributors have done, the best that humans have done, and then try to bring that into our business. We need to find the best and then find a way to lift and shift the best that humans have done into our business. And that's what Unleash is all about. So we bring in 17 storytellers that can share the best that humans have done, and then we're going to work to lift and shift those new ideas into our businesses. Just very, very quickly, the first keynote is Andrew Berlin. Those of you that were in the B section, you heard me talk about Andrew Berlin, phenomenal owner of Berlin Packaging, a distributor. But wait a second, no distributor experts on my stage. Andrew Berlin is also the owner of the South Bend Cubs. And he, over the last 3 years, has transformed one of the worst performing professional sports teams in the country into one of the best run professional sports franchises in the country. He's going to share with us those stories. Next is a gentleman by the name of Jay Rogers, on day 2, our keynote speaker. Has anybody seen in the last 2 days, all over the news, in Chicago, Illinois, there was a company that 3D printed a car at a trade show. Did you see that in the news? And they actually drove that car off of the trade show floor. Amazing. Jay Rogers is the founder and CEO of that company. He drove that 3D car off the showroom floor, all right? He sees new business models. He sees new value propositions. He understands the importance of digitization, of collaboration. He is going to rock our world. And then for each of those components throughout the next 2 days, we're going to have 15 other storytellers who are going to share with us their expertise, their insights to get us thinking differently. And the last thing that I'll share with you is it's all about taking that new insight and doing something with it. So, when we talk about lift and shift, we are serious. So the last 90 minutes of our 2-day session, we are going to have what we call a lift and shift session. We're going to share with you a framework, and we're going to ask you to choose the biggest, boldest, baddest idea. What's the biggest, baddest, boldest idea that you've gotten from these 2 days that can truly transform your business? The one that scares the living daylights out of you. The one you know is going to be very, very difficult, but is the one that needs to be done. We're going to walk you through a 7-step framework so that you're going to look at that biggest, baddest, boldest idea. You're going to understand the importance, why it needs to be done. You're going to understand all of the challenges, and then you're going to work through a creative destruction process. Because for any change to happen, we need to creatively destruct the status quo. And we're going to walk you through a process in order to do that. So Randy, thank you very, very much. My last message to you is this: companies don't innovate, companies don't change, companies don't transform, people do. You do. Through coming to APEC, coming and joining Randy and I and everybody else at UnleashWD, let's come out of this business, let's come out of this industry, and let's do what we know needs to be done in our gut. Let's change, let's transform, let's drive real innovation. I hope to see you in October in Chicago. Randy, thank you, buddy. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Thanks. Thank you.